Hello, hello everyone. It is Saturday and it is I, Whimsy, the tarot reader named Whimsy that is your favorite tarot reader with the name Whimsy. Welcome, welcome everyone. We have so much to do today. I have so much to talk about. I was off for a couple of days. I did do a lot of meditating. And I did some consolidating and I did some remote viewing, and it's going to get a little complicated, but it's also getting really, really interesting at this point in the investigation. So there's a lot I want to talk about. I've got a list. Hopefully we will get through it all. Just got to write something else down. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is dark money. Dark money, follow the money, hidden money, bribes, how foreign governments bribe people of interest without governments finding out about it. So here's what I think the story is. During the Obama administration, there were a lot of investigations going on. And one of the investigations that the FBI has been conducting for a very, very long time is dark money, cryptocurrency, and how people are shuffling money through the black market, human trafficking, drugs, and bribing government officials via cryptocurrency. So this investigation has been going on for this investigation into dirty money, dark money, cryptocurrencies, bribes, schemes, etc. really started to take off under the Obama administration as more and more people got into cryptocurrency. So they were investigating a few things. They were trying to locate offshore accounts. This is how the remote view looks to me. In the meditative state, I'm going to tell you exactly what I saw. They were not able to capture people for tax evasion, hiding money, and bribes because of the way that the money schemes were being conducted. The focus of the main investigation by the FBI was not conducted by Robert Muller. It was an investigation, like I said, that has been going on for a while, but was really ramped up under the Obama administration. And it's part of the reason why he became a pariah in D.C. and his administration became a pariah, and why they really went up to bat against Obama's administration. It was because of policies of the Obama administration that sanctioned dictatorships, began to investigate Russia's involvement in dark money schemes. Initially, I think the Obama administration was naive and optimistic and thought that they could work with Russia, but then when the intelligence agencies began to debrief people like Obama, the State Department, on the problems with dark money and hidden bribes, etc., tax evasions, then they began to double down on countries like China's use of cryptocurrency, Russia's use of cryptocurrency, etc. So that is the real investigation. And then the Mueller report, the Mueller investigation became a public investigation into the Russian meddling during the 2016 election. But for me, as somebody who's been doing this meditation for a couple of years on this subject, that never was where I never got carried to the Mueller investigation energetically until people started asking me to. And then I had to actually work at it, because every time I would go into the energy, I would be carried to these bank transactions that were taking place all over the country. And it looked like the energy, when I was in the meditative state, how my brain, how my brain found a way to explain it to me, is it really looked like points of light, just going back and forth, these bank transfers, these money transfers. And they came in in hidden ways through these bank accounts, but they came in offshore. Remember how I talked about the Trump Tower? If you go back and look at stuff I recorded 2-3 months ago, it was bank information going back and forth, and then other bank information back and forth in other states involving other compromised people, and that many people have been compromised, and this was the dark money issue. And then I continued to follow the lights, and it took me overseas, and I started seeing stuff going on in South America, then Brazil. We saw what happened in Brazil. So it would appear, if I'm taking my remote viewings into consideration and how the energy looks, that what I was looking at was dark money and cryptocurrency going to fund questionable political parties and persons of interest, and that it was being traced back to foreign governments. So that is the real investigation, and we're probably going to be seeing, look, it's going to go public because I always ask permission from Spirit when I do a meditation, but that's the real investigation. So I want to go back and again reiterate why they shut down the Muller investigation and instead transferred everything over to other teams. When Muller was doing his investigation, he was trying to just determine if there was a there. And when he found something that needed to be investigated, he would then pass it on to prosecutors in DC, prosecutors in New York, the SDNY, depending upon the nature of the criminal act that he found. And it was protected by the FBI because it was buried in multiple cases, so that even if you tried to bury the case, you'd find the same documents hidden somewhere else. People have been very worried about Bill Barr. I would say don't be, because the FBI is structured in such a way that even if the head of the FBI said delete all this stuff, they would not be able to do that, because there's a lot of safeguards in the FBI because of the way that the FBI consolidates its information. So I wanted to make sure to say that also. So I want to talk now about Trump's friend, the massage parlor. I apologize, I didn't write her name down, I just started filming. She was a Chinese woman. She used to own the massage parlor in Florida, where men who theoretically could be compromised either by being filmed with prostitutes, right? We talked about the fact that it's also going to come out that they were using blackmailing schemes. In addition to blackmailing people of interest by sending them whatever they want, prostitutes, human trafficking, etc., drugs, they were also funneling money through these cryptocurrency schemes, foreign government schemes. So basically, the Asian Republican conference that took place that she helped choreograph, they're now looking into that because a bunch of money, and they don't even know where the money came from. The money came in and then the money went missing, and it violated lobbying laws. So now nobody knows who gave the money or where the money went. So this leaves a couple of questions. Where did the money come from? They're now looking at overseas. So overseas and governments overseas had funneled money that could not be traced to the ARC. I believe it's spelled ARC, Asian Republican Conference. And some of that money may have then been shuttled or hidden in offshore accounts and cryptocurrency. And probably is going to be traced back to foreign governments, etc. So this is an example of how the criminal investigation out of the FBI is cutting off these money streams. Another example of them doing this was with Donald Trump's sister, where she was using similar money schemes. Like I said, the FBI has been very patient. The FBI will sit on a case watching criminals for 10 years because to sit back and watch, they'll get more information and more names by doing nothing but surveilling a situation than if they went in and busted the person. This is another reason why You have to be very careful if you accuse somebody midway through an investigation of something before they've been formally charged, and that's part of the complex nature of publishing something like the Mueller report. So I want to also talk about Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen, I did a remote viewing on him about 3-4 months ago. You can go back and look at that, where in the remote viewing I had a vision of him talking to Robert Mueller. And in the vision, Robert Mueller had asked him about the foreign dealings, these foreign money schemes, any documents that Michael Cohen might have to prove these money schemes, and if so, could he get those documents for Robert Mueller? And the answer I heard back was, I can get that for you. So in addition to raiding Michael Cohen's offices and taking everything they could from his offices, Michael Cohen also showed them how the money schemes overseas worked, and he started naming names, Ivanka Trump, etc., the rest of the family. And this woman who was helping people pay for access to the president, so was Michael Cohen, by the way, that is part of this dark money and these money schemes. Now, Michael Cohen, when he went to Congress, he handed over, I believe it was 6 suitcases worth of documents, and now he's got another bunch of documents. I'm assuming now he's starting to bring in the foreign bank transactions, the foreign information, which was the last stuff that he made available to Mueller based on what I could figure out from the remotes. How do you deal with the current situation and this long-winded investigation into dark money and bribed individuals that appears to be an investigation that's gone on for at least 10 years? Well, one of the things they did, as I said, is that they broke up the Mueller investigation, sent it all off, and now everyone just got transferred. The prosecutors just got transferred to D.C. prosecutors, so that the robust investigation continues on. Nancy Pelosi has said that she does not necessarily want to impeach the president, but she would rather take him out with paper cuts. Just let the American people slowly see these money schemes, these tax evasion schemes, etc., and completely disempower him so that he would not be able to run again in 2020, take away all of his powers, work exclusively with the Senate, dismantle his powers, prevent him from running in states that demand that you release your taxes. I know that Oregon now demands it. Several other states are demanding to see the taxes of anybody that's running for presidency. And I believe Illinois now, and possibly Wisconsin. So without the Midwestern states putting Donald Trump on the ballot, it's unlikely he can even run in 2020 because of that's what they're doing. So it's another way that good people are protecting the country and the Constitution from what is happening. And it's another reason why I think people should calm down and relax. Theoretically, if people start to see everything, it's unlikely that they are going to object to demanding taxes be people see the tax returns of anyone running for president. It seems to be moving in that direction. Okay, so I think I got to everything. I think now I'm going to go ahead, and people wanted to know about Stephen Miller, if I would throw cards on Stephen Miller, what the future of Stephen Miller is, and if they'll be able to get him out of the White House. All right, so we are going to do some shuffling. I'm going to do some cards today. Let's shuffle. We will use my old deck, Everything Straight Up. And we're just going to take a look at, ask for Spirit with permission, to look at the records of Stephen Miller. I'm going to try and access his stroke records with permission from Spirit. Nothing we're not supposed to know. We don't want to be interrupting any ongoing investigations. The fact that Spirit let me see the stuff that I shared with you today leads me to suspect that it's all going to be public in the next couple weeks. We never want to do something that's going to put anyone's life at risk by sharing a remote viewing. What is going on with Stephen Miller? Why did he turn out the way he did? Interesting. He comes as attached to the Two of Pentacles, questionable money sources, juggling coin. There's an aspect to him that's deception. I think he's going to wind up under criminal investigation. This is a curious card for him to pull. The Two of Pentacles, juggling coin, back and forth. Rocky waters are waiting for him. You can see in the background the swishing of the waters. The coin is being tossed around like the ship is unstable. The money is coming from questionable sources. Back and forth he juggles the money in a situation that looks kind of chaotic or unstable. Where is that right now? Writing, working. He probably sees himself as the writer for the president, the person who's putting out the official policy, but he does a lot of writing of documents, it looks like. Writing of documents and writing of policy. What crosses him? I'm sorry to say, this is somebody who's done very well for themselves financially. This is a wealth card. You can see he's pulling only pentacles. Money, 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 money. Money, money, money. By the way, he also comes across as possibly emotionally volatile. What is above him? He's a very stubborn guy, Four of Cups. Not good at negotiating, just inflexible. He appears to have like an inflexible personality. He thinks he's winning and he thinks he will win. Ace of Swords is in his third house. What goes behind him? His attachment to codependence, alcoholism, drug addiction, or codependent relationships, sadomasochism, hunger for power. His near future, an offer rejected in April, Four of Cups. This is somebody who feels very confident at what he does and has no intention of leaving, and is doing very well for himself, career-wise, professionally. He's looking towards his influence internationally. He wants to have an impact on international policies, and he has money overseas as well. He's going to be forced into a situation where he's going to have to start offering compromises on his policies because all roads lead to the Page of Cups, which is negotiations, offers, healings, truce. And the clarification again is offers, negotiations. There will be a change in our policies regarding immigration that appears to be based on some kind of compromise. But at this time, I'm sorry to say I don't see him leaving. Rather, his policies will have to be changed. Compassion moving in, cups moving in. But I'm sorry to say I don't see his career ending anytime soon. That's what I see. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do is we're going to check what's happening next week. Is the Muller report going to be dumped? People think that it's going to be dumped sometime around Tuesday. Let's find out. Let's find out. What would Tuesday be? What day of the week would that be? Let's have a look. These are my bubbles. My cat's learning to chase bubbles. All right, what is going on with next week and the Muller report? Will we see it next week? The All right, the base card, Justice coming in, and Leap of Faith. So, yeah, it's coming in next week. We're gonna see something from the Justice Department, and they're gonna be a lot more transparent than people expected. Where it's at right now, stalemate. What's crossing it, smoother waters. What is above it? People are holding on to their cards. Selfishness, greedy, they don't want to hand it over. And what it sits in, defensiveness, a defensive mode. The past, torment. I would say William Barr was pretty stressed out. He's trying to protect an ongoing investigation and protect potentially anybody from being falsely accused before all of the data is collected. Remember, these are ongoing investigations. The function of the Muller report was simply to determine whether or not anything should be investigated or if the investigations should continue on. The fact that it ended does not mean the investigations end. It means simply that Muller has come to a conclusion regarding his findings about what needs to be investigated and how these investigations need to proceed, how they're packaged, how they're organized. Heartbreak in the near future. That's in the next couple of days. Business solid, looking abroad, connections, hopes and fears that it will be a treasure trove. I know that when Michael Cohen started handing over documents, some of them about hiding money, that's when that's when Congress was able to begin following the money. The final outcome again is the King of Pentacles. He comes again. The mysterious King of Pentacles comes and takes position or takes power over the situation. It's interesting that they're choosing this archetype because the whole entire investigation has been about greed, cryptocurrency, dark money, illegal money schemes, access to this president and other people in positions of power. The real investigation is about people going to DC and being bribed by foreign governments through these money schemes. It's about compromised individuals. That's the real investigation. The real investigation is much deeper than Donald Trump. The real investigation is also about how people inside the intelligence agencies, people inside the military could have theoretically sold security to foreign governments. The reason why Julian Assange is so interesting to federal investigators isn't about the press and free speech. It's about the fact that he was a handler for foreign governments and was most likely being paid partially through cryptocurrency, so they could not track Julian Assange taking money from foreign governments when he published certain documents. And that's the real investigation, and that is why they need Julian Assange to come to the United States and testify. They need to know which governments he was working with, who his handlers were, and how they paid him. Because if they can figure that out, they can shut down the dark money and theoretically put a stop to these governments that are emerging, these individuals that are emerging that have been compromised by foreign governments. What we saw in Brazil, what we saw with Brexit, what we saw with the United States won't be stopped until we can stop the money flow. And that's the real federal investigation. All right, so I hope we have answered all your questions for where the investigation is at, when the real investigation started. I believe it started to really take off under the Obama administration, and not to get overly fixated by the Mueller investigation, because it's very obvious to me and other people who are remote viewers that the real investigation is elsewhere. All right, thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Take care. And if you need to make an appointment to see me, please come see me. I love giving tarot readings, and you can find all that information below this video. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.